I'd make you pay for hurting my boy. How dare you touch my son!
Another season of Reacher has come and gone on Amazon Prime Video, and once again, Jack Reacher, our favorite towering tough-as-nails wanderer, has managed to take down the bad guys. Season 3 ended with a bang, as Reacher went toe-to-toe with Paulie, an even more massive adversary than himself, and came out on top. Of course, he also dismantled another villainous conspiracy along the way. True to form, the season wrapped up with Reacher back on the road, walking off into whatever danger fate throws his way next. And given that Lee Child has written 29 Reacher novels, with a 30th in the pipeline, it's safe to say he won't be running out of enemies to punch anytime soon. Considering how massively popular the series has become, it was the most streamed show in early March 2025 according to Nielsen. It's basically impossible to end one season without immediately thinking about the next. One major reason Reacher works so well on Prime Video's platform is that it doesn't rely on a sprawling ensemble cast. It really just follows two core characters, which makes it a lot easier to keep the show lean and mean, not to mention budget-friendly. Because of that, and because fans can't seem to get enough of it, Reacher feels like it'll be a mainstay on Prime Video for a long time. In fact, Amazon was so confident in the series that they renewed it for Season 4 before Season 3 even hit screens. And that's not all. There's also a spin-off in the works, centered on Frances Negley, played by Maria Sten, who has become a fan favorite in her own right. That series is already filming, and if all goes according to plan, it'll drop before we even see the next season of Reacher. So, fans of this gritty, brainy, brawny universe have a lot to look forward to. Now the big question is, when can we actually expect Reacher Season 4 to premiere? Well, the production schedule for the show has been surprisingly consistent. Even the writers and actors strikes of 2023 didn't derail it too much. The only slight wrinkle is that Negley's spin-off is in production right now and is expected to come out first. But don't worry, that won't create a major delay. All signs point to Season 4 of Reacher arriving sometime in 2026. As for which book the new season will adapt, that remains a mystery. So far, there's been no clear pattern. Season 1 was based on Killing Floor, the very first Jack Reacher novel. Season 2 jumped ahead to Bad Luck and Trouble, which is the 11th book. Then, Season 3 took things back a bit by adapting Persuader, the 7th book in the series. Because of this shuffle, predicting the next source material is a bit of a guessing game. And it's not like the Season 3 finale gives us any clues either. It wraps up Reacher's story arc neatly, with no dangling plot threads or hints about what's to come. The show has always leaned toward a standalone format. Each season tells its own complete story, and then it's on to the next adventure. There's very little narrative baggage carried over from one season to another, which honestly works in its favor. It also doesn't seem like Season 3 did anything to set up the Negley spin-off, which is going to be a whole new ball game with its own original storyline. That said, actor Alan Ritchson, who plays Reacher, has been open about which book he'd love to see tackled next. He's a big fan of Die Trying, the second book in the series, where Reacher gets falsely accused and ends up kidnapped by a violent militia group. In an interview with Men's Journal, Ritchson said, "I would love to see that happen," and he hinted that there have already been discussions behind the scenes. I guess we'll see what the future holds. I'll find a way. Meanwhile, Maria Sten has her eye on Without Fail, the 6th book in the series, which she'd love to see adapted someday too. When it comes to the cast, don't expect many familiar faces from previous seasons outside of Reacher and Negley. Each season is pretty self-contained, and while there are occasional cameos, most characters don't stick around. The only consistent cast members so far have been Ritchson and Sten. That said, Season 2 did introduce a few other surviving members of their old military unit, the 110th Special Investigations Unit. There's a chance some of them could pop up again, though it's worth noting they haven't appeared in any of the other Reacher books outside of Bad Luck and Trouble, so it's not something fans should necessarily bank on. Oh, and speaking of what we might see in Season 4, let's talk villains for a sec. There's been no official word yet on who Reacher's going toe-to-toe with next, but if I had to throw a name into the ring, I'd say Edward Lane from Lee Child's 2006 novel, The Hard Way, could be a seriously compelling pick. So here's the deal. The Hard Way kicks off in the thick of a sweltering New York summer, with Reacher doing what he does best, observing everything. He spots a man crossing the street, hopping into the car and driving off like it's just another Tuesday. But of course, this isn't some random scene. Reacher's actually been hired to keep an eye on this guy because he's carrying a cool $1 million. Ransom money to be exact. The goal? Make sure the cash is delivered so the guy's kidnapped wife and stepdaughter stay safe. Now here's where it gets juicy. The guy footing the bill for Reacher's freelance gig is none other than Edward Lane, a polished, wealthy mercenary leader who's used to giving orders and getting results. But as Reacher starts digging a little deeper, because when does he not, things stop adding up. Turns out, Lane's previous wife also got kidnapped under similarly shady circumstances. And yeah, she didn't make it out alive. Red flags much? Lane is the kind of character that could really shake things up on screen. He's got money, power, and a whole lot of secrets. He's got that calm on the surface, dangerous underneath vibe that makes for a top-tier TV villain. If they decide to go this route, Lane could easily end up being one of the best antagonists the Reacher series has seen so far, especially if the show leans into the darker side of his mercenary past and how far he's willing to go to get what he wants. Honestly, Season 4 could hit a whole new level of intensity if they bring Lane into the mix. Now, when it comes to the Negley spin-off, that's where things get interesting. Unlike Reacher, which is based on Lee Child's novels, Negley will tell an original story. But even though it's not tied to any existing book, it'll still stay in that same gritty, mystery-driven genre. The official synopsis teases a deeply personal mission for Negley. After learning that an old friend from her past has died under suspicious circumstances, she sets out to uncover the truth, using all the skills she's picked up from her time with Reacher and their special ops days. The spin-off is shaping up to be something unique. Because Negley isn't a towering brute like Reacher, the show will likely lean more into strategy, intelligence, and tech-based investigations. She's got some serious hacking skills, and her calm but fierce approach to solving problems should offer a refreshing contrast to Reacher's smash first, ask questions later style. And just because she's not built like a tank doesn't mean she can't throw down. She's proven more than capable in the fight department too. Interestingly, there's a bit of speculation that Season 3's breakout character, DEA agent Duffy, played by Sonia Cassidy, might be making the jump to the Negley series. Toward the end of the season, she mentions leaving the DEA, and Reacher suggests she get in touch with some private investigator friends. Given that Negley works as a PI in Chicago, the dots aren't hard to connect. As for Reacher himself, fans can breathe easy. Alan Ritchson is confirmed to guest star in Negley. So it's likely we'll see a bit of a role reversal, with Reacher stepping in to help out his old friend, much like she helped him out over the years. You didn't really think Prime Video would launch a Reacherverse show without including the man himself, did you? Behind the scenes, Negley is being co-developed by Reacher showrunner Nick Santora and writer Nicholas Wooten, who previously worked with Santora on Scorpion. The cast lineup is already looking solid, with actors like Damon Harriman, Matthew Del Negro, Adeline Rudolph, Grayston Holt, and Jasper Jones joining the fold. And that's a wrap for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.